Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Christian Magnell, lead pastor of Beachside Community Church, and it is Wednesday, and we're almost halfway to the weekend. And what a beautiful morning it is! It is cooler than it has been probably in, I don't know, 6, 7 months. So it's beautiful out here. Beautiful morning. Starting a little bit later on my video than I normally do, but I'm glad that you're here joining us on Facebook Live. Remember to check out our website at www.beach.church and look for us on YouTube under Beachside Media. Now, last night was the first presidential debate. And here we are talking this week about loving our enemies. It seems a little bit timely or a little bit ironic. I don't know, maybe a little bit of both. But the timing is perfect. I actually watched about an hour of the debate. I wasn't going to, and then I was, and then I wasn't going to, and I wanted to get to bed early. But then I did have to watch for about an hour. And I don't know about you, but I feel worse for having watched it. I just, it's not an endorsement of either side. I simply believe that we can be better as people, and I don't think that was reflective of who we really are, who we can be. But even more appropriate, we're going to talk today about loving our enemies, specifically by building community. And so it's appropriate because this is the very thing we're failing to do as a nation. You and I can't change the whole nation, but we can live this out locally, and the church is a perfect setting in which to do it. To get us thinking about that, I'm going to read from Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47. Put that up on the screen. And it's a big verse, or it's a, not big verse, but it's a lot of words. And so I've put the whole verse on there, so hopefully you can see it as I read. Anyways, this is Acts chapter 2. This is shortly after the ascension of Christ into heaven. And this is the early church. It says, they devote themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all believers were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all, as any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. Again, that's Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47. A lot of pastors and church leaders point to this verse as being descriptive of what the ideal church community looks like, and I agree. Of course, we don't live in we don't live in the first century. We live in the 21st century. We don't live in the first century, so it's going to look different for us. But the general idea remains. The community was devoted to being together, learning from the apostles, sharing meals and communion, prayer, sharing their resources, and Luke tells us there was awe and growth from that community. So how does this relate to our enemies? In two ways. First, we're called to build this kind of community, and second, we invite them, our enemies, really all people, but in particular we're thinking this week about our enemies, we invite them into that kind of community. So first, building that community. There is a burden on each of us to participate. By participating, to learn, to spend time together, to pray, to share. People are vastly imperfect beings, so we need to get ourselves, as well as others, a little bit of slack. There will be times our issues and our hang-ups get in the way. And while that's frustrating, we can't stop participating in our life together. Likewise, please don't expect the people around you to be perfect. They'll talk too much, they'll withdraw, they'll complain, they'll be flighty in their commitments, and so on. Any community which puts up with you and me requires that we put up with the imperfections, not the perfections, the imperfections of others. So any community that has you and me as a part of it requires us, as being part of that community, to accept imperfect people, however imperfect they may be. We need this kind of community now more than ever. Aren't you tired of the fighting around you? Of demonizing the political opposition? Of derogatory Facebook memes? Of nasty emails? Friends, these are unforced errors. We're doing this to ourselves. In a divided world, the church has to step forward and demonstrate what true community looks like. True community is going to be 100% like-minded when it comes to the gospel. There's no compromise there. But outside that, a faithful church community will include people from various walks of life, different personalities, occupations, ways of doing things. It's this community which invites us in and to which we invite all others, including our enemies. So do we just invite our enemies to come to church? Is that it? Well, no, that would be too easy. And honestly, a little patronizing in certain settings. To go up to somebody and say, well, you really need Jesus, so come to church with me. I would not recommend you do that. What I'm proposing is much more difficult. We have to be willing to build community with our enemies one-on-one. Go to lunch or dinner or coffee. Spend time listening. Learn about what makes them tick. Befriend them. Embrace those who wish to pull you away. They may keep pushing away. You may not be able to change that, and I've experienced that myself. But you know what? You also might make a big breakthrough. So I want to put Monday's video and today's video together. How do you treat enemies? Pray sincerely for them and reach out and try to connect and build community with them. Learn about them. Invite them into your lives. Be the one who makes the effort. Tomorrow we're going to pick up a different form of loving our enemies, which is provision. In the meantime, I want you to think about prayer and community over the rest of the day. Ask God how you're challenged and how to reach out and make this real. I look forward to your comments and feedback on this post. As always, like the post, share it, leave a comment, send us a message. In the meantime, have a great Wednesday, and God bless you.